Hello, everyone. Today we are going to go over the Polycom 350 and 450 desk phones. The new name you may see on top of the phones is Poly. Polycom rebranded to Poly, so they are the same thing, just different name, of course. The video I'm going to go over today also does have a handout. If you weren't provided that handout, please reach out to your IT department, administrators, or you can also let us know here at 5 Star Telecom and we can get you that handout. If your phone does look a little different than what you see on the screen, the phone on the left is the VVX 450, mostly seen in the office space, and on the right is the VVX 350. There are other Polycom phones out there, the 150 and the 250, but this handout and this video will cover all of those. At the end of the day, they all do the exact same thing. So I will get started right away. On the phone itself, as you see at the top of the phone here, you have a clear little window. That is your voicemail waiting indicator. That will start flashing red when you have a voicemail, just like you may have today. The screen here in the middle is the screen. It is a colored screen. It is not a touch screen, so touching the screen doesn't do anything, but that is going to have all the information you need when using your phone. As you might see, like I said, on the left side is the 450, the one on the right is the 350. As you might see, the number of line keys here is different. So those line keys, just each phone has a different amount of line keys. Those line keys are customizable. You may see on your phone your extension number here listed twice. The reason we do that is for call waiting. You can be on the phone and take a second call with having the second button there. So the reason we do that is for call waiting. After that are keys that can be programmed as busy lamp keys, speed dials, favorites, all those types of buttons. As you see is with the busy lamps, if I go ahead and this person's on the phone, as you can see, that button would light up red. Those are what we refer to as busy lamp keys. When that person's on the phone, it lights up red. If you want, you can also use that button to call that person, and then it would turn green. Those keys are programmable. That's something that your phone system administrator or us here at 5 Star have to program for you. So if you have certain buttons you want on the phone, we just ask that you write it down on a piece of paper or send us an email saying, you know, hey, my extension is 7664 and this is the order I want my keys to show. So those can be changed. At the bottom of the screen, you have your soft keys. So these 4 buttons along the bottom of the screen are your soft keys. By default, they're going to sit and they're going to say, you know, pickup, directory, DND, which is do not disturb. Those keys are going to sit there. These soft keys do change. So when the phone is sitting idle, they may say that, but when you simply pick up the handset, you can see that they change to lines, a way to hang up the phone, all that kind of thing. So soft keys do change. When the phone is ringing, they will also change and you'll get an answer, a silence, a reject button, all those kinds of things. So the soft keys do change. Don't let that freak you out, but they change. On the back of the handout I referred to at the beginning of the video, again, if you don't have that, it would be a good tool to have when watching this video. Just let your phone system administrator, your IT people, or us know, and we'll get you that handout. But in that handout on the back, it does refer to the soft keys quite a bit. For example, it'll say to do a certain transfer, hit the soft key that says blank. So those are your soft keys. Those 4 buttons here at the bottom of the screen are your soft keys. Moving on, below the soft keys, you have your navigation keys. So this wheel here in the middle of each phone, those are your navigation keys. So by hitting the up arrow, it takes you to your favorites. Those are favorites that you can program in your phone, you know, spouses, daycares, restaurants, businesses you call, put a favorite in there for us so you can call us if you have questions. Those are each phone only on that phone. So if you program a speed dial for your kid's daycare, you're only going to see that on your phone. That does not copy over to other phones. Okay. Hitting the right and the left buttons will actually turn the page. So like the 450 here has buttons on both sides of the screen. If you hit the left and right arrows, it actually flips the page. So not only is this a one page for a two-line phone here, you have 4 pages of this many buttons. So if you have us program your buttons, it fills up the first page, they'll just start coming over to the second page, third and fourth. So the left and right arrows of that navigation allow you to flip that page. The down button of the navigation brings you into call history. So within call history, you are able to see calls that you made, calls that you answered, and calls that you missed. So call history, caller ID, name and number as long as it comes through. But that down button gets you to there. You can scroll through your call history. You can see that that one extension called you, and you can go ahead and hit dial and you can call them back. Okay. So navigation. To the left of it is just a back button. So if you happen to be in the main menu, you can hit that back button and it takes you to back to like your home screen. The house button on the phone, a key you probably won't use a whole lot, but the house button allows you to get in. We use it to get into settings. If we have to factory default your phone, if we have to do something special, if you simply want to change the ringtone on your phone, that button would allow you to get into like the settings menu. So of course, right in the middle of the phone, you have a dial pad. Every phone that you use today has some sort of a dial pad. So the dial pad, if you want to call somebody, simply dialing their extension number, or you want to call into voicemail, you want to call out, that kind of thing. One note I do want to make, when calling out on this system, you have to dial all 10 digits. And what I mean by that is you have to dial the area code first. You do not need to dial an 8 or a 9 or even a 1, but you have to call the area code first. So if you're sitting at your desk and Taco Bell's across the street and you want to call them to place an order, you have to dial the area code first. No matter who you're calling, again, 10-digit dialing means you have to dial area code first when calling out. I'll refer to that later too, as just a reminder. On the right-hand side of the dial pad here, you have a headset button. So multiple headsets will work on the system, but if you want to use the headset button to get your headset activated, you certainly can do that. If you want to be on speakerphone, you can hear a dial tone there. You can have speakerphone. So let's say you're talking on the handset, you and I are talking, you want to put this call on speakerphone so the whole room can hear it. When you're talking, you can hit the speakerphone button and hang up, and now that call is on speakerphone. To hang up a speakerphone call, 3 things: you can pick up the handset, set it down, you can hit the speakerphone button, or like I said, one of those soft keys says end call. You can simply hit end call. When you're on speakerphone or on the handset talking to somebody, this bottom right key is your mute. So you're talking with somebody, you got a cough, somebody comes into your office, you got to mute the call for some reason so that the person you're talking to can't hear you. That would be your mute key. You're on a conference call, you want to join the call, you can hit mute so they can't hear you, and then you're able to go about your day, finish your email, that kind of thing. Moving on the left-hand side of the dial pad, you have your transfer button. You have a messages button. The 150 and 250 Polycom phones will not have this messages button. The phones are that much smaller where that button doesn't fit. But the 2 phones here, the phones that we use the most are the 450 and the 350. They do have the messages button. If you hit that messages button, the screen changes and tells you how many new and old messages you have. And then if you want to call into voicemail, you simply hit the connect button
Welcome to your Compilot voice portal. Please enter your passcode, then press the pound key.
And as you heard, you're able to messages, hit connect, and it will call into voicemail, and it'll ask you for your password so that you can listen to your messages, or maybe you need to get in there to change your greetings. We'll get into the voicemail setup here towards the end of the training video, but that's what that button does there. And the handset button with a pause, that is your hold button. And then below that is the volume. So when the phone is sitting idle like this, hitting your volume button adjusts how loud the ringtone will be on your phone. And then that same volume is how loud it is on the handset or on speakerphone, how loud that speaker is. So volume is used when you're on the phone. When you're not on the phone, volume is used to adjust how loud your ringtone is. Okay? So those are the buttons on the front of the phone and kind of what each of them does. So again, dial pad, 10-digit dialing when calling out, area code plus the 7 extra numbers. Speakerphone, mute, transfer, voicemail, messages key, hold, and volume. So again, if you have a handout in front of you, you can go ahead and flip that page. And on the back are instructions on how to furthermore use the phones. So at the top, placing calls on hold and resuming calls from hold. So I'm going to go ahead and call this other phone. So I'm going to dial that extension. And I'm just going to set the phone down and I'm going to hit mute so it doesn't echo. It'll echo really bad here because the phones are so close. But I'm on an active call between the two phones. I'm talking to a person, I can simply hit the hold button and it puts the caller on hold. As you can see here on this phone, the top button of that phone then starts blinking red. That lets you know that you have a caller on hold. If I pull this phone a little bit closer, you'll see that the key is blinking red, and then one of the soft keys here does say resume. So 2 ways you can pick that call up. If you put them on hold at your desk here, you have to come back to your desk to get that call. So what I mean by that is I put this call on hold, I cannot run up to the front desk or I cannot run back to my supervisor's office and say, hey, I got 5-Star Telecom on the line, go ahead and pick them up. You cannot do that if you put them on hold. Putting them on hold only puts the caller on hold at your desk. To get them off of hold, you can either hit resume or hit the flashing line key before picking up the handset. If you pick up the handset first, the phone thinks you're trying to make a second call and you will not be able to pick up the call you had on hold. If you do that, simply hang up. It goes back to a blinking key, and then you can press it and then bring up your handset to your ear and say, all right, 5-Star, I got so-and-so on the phone, and we can go ahead and talk. So putting calls on hold and resuming calls from hold. Talking on the phone, you hit hold, go get what you got to get at the printer, do what you got to do, but you have to come back to your phone. Hit resume or the flashing button before picking the handset back up, and you'll be back on that line with that person. So now the question would be, I want to put a person on a holding spot so that it can be picked up somewhere else in the building. That's where we go down to the next line there, which is parking. It's called park. So you're on an active call and you simply hit one of the call park buttons and the call will push itself down to where it says park 1. And as you can see on both phones, that button is lit up. So call park is lit up on all the phones. So again, you're talking on the phone and they ask to talk to sales or they ask to talk to service. You can't find anybody. You want to put them on hold so that when you do find them, they can go to any phone in the building and get that call. That's call parking. You're talking on the phone, reach over, you hit call, one of the call park buttons. You have one, you might have two, you might even have three. They are usually labeled park 1, park 2, or call park, or line 1. Whatever, we can change the names of those. Hit the button, you can safely hang up, and you can page overhead, or you can go down to like the maintenance department and say 5-Star Telecom's on park 1. Any phone in the building can go to that button, hit park 1, and they can start talking to who you had on hold. So call hold puts it on hold at your phone and your phone only. Call park allows you to put that call in a global holding spot so that it can be picked up anywhere else in the building. Moving on, performing a blind transfer. So a blind transfer is a way for you to transfer a call directly to another person or cell phone, and it just transfers the call. It does not announce who you're going to transfer. It just allows for the person answering the phone, hello, thank you for calling. I would like to talk to Bob. All right, you go ahead, you hit Bob's button, and the call just transfers. You do not get to announce who you're transferring. It just blindly sends the call, sends the call to that user. And if they're there, great. If not, it'll go to their voicemail. So to do that, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to call my cell phone so I can demonstrate this for you. So my cell phone is ringing. I'm going to go ahead and mute just so it doesn't echo. You do not need to mute your phone. I'm just muting the call so that it doesn't echo. And doing a blind transfer, I would be talking on the phone. Hey, how are you? I just hit the button and hang up. The phone is now calls ringing at that other phone. So I'm going to go ahead and answer that. Again, a blind transfer, I did not tell that other phone who it is. Caller came in and said, I'd like to talk to Bob. I reached up and hit Bob's button. Call started ringing at Bob's phone. In this case, he answered it. If he did not answer it, it would have went to his voicemail. That's a blind transfer. The other transfer is a consulted transfer. So when on an active call, just like we were, I'll go ahead and call myself again. Using my navigation keys, I can arrow down. I can see I called out to this cell phone number. Go ahead and, it's like a redial. Go ahead and call out. Again, just muting the phone so it doesn't echo because they're so close. So now what I can do is if I hit the transfer button, and again, this is for a consulted transfer, I can hit the transfer button. It puts the caller on hold, and then I can dial that person's extension and then reach up and hit the send key. It would allow these two phones internally to have a conversation. Hey, I have so-and-so on the phone. Would you like to talk to him? Sure, go ahead and send them through. Once you hang up the phone, then the transfer happens. So the difference between blind transfer and consulted transfer, blind transfer, you can just tap their button and it starts ringing that person's phone. You transfer the call without announcing who it is. A consulted transfer, you hit the transfer button first and then their button or dial their extension number, and that allows you to transfer the call to the person, allowing you to announce who it is. If the two internal people are talking after you hit the transfer button and, hey, I would like to talk to them, once you hang up the phone, then the call is transferred. If that person says, nope, I'm not available, I don't want to talk to that person, I can't talk to that person, whatever the reason might be, one of the soft keys will say cancel. You can simply tap the cancel button, the transfer is canceled, and you're back talking to the person that called in. Again, blind transfers, consulted transfers, you might find that putting them on call park and then calling that other employee is just as easy. But we want to go through all three or four options: putting a call on hold, parking a call, blind transfers, and consulted transfers. The 3 parking calls and the 2 transfers can kind of work together. It all depends on how you want to train yourself on how to do that. But at the end of the day, they're all going to kind of do the same thing. Performing a transfer directly to voicemail. So when you're on an active call, again, I'm just going to call myself. So I get an active call going. I have an active call going. I'm just going to mute. So we're on an active call, performing a transfer directly to voicemail. To conduct a transfer directly to voicemail, press the soft key labeled Send VM. So you press Send VM. The screen then says, well, what extension number do you want to transfer to? At this point, you would enter their extension number and then reach up and hit the Enter key, and it would then go right to that person's voicemail. Beep, you reached the desk of so-and-so, and you'd be able to leave them a message. If you don't know their voicemail extension number, so you hit Send VM, I don't know what Bob's extension is, you can reach up and hit Lines, and then you're able to scroll through the buttons on your phone, find that person, hit Select, and now that call is going to go right into that person's voicemail. So the busy lamp keys that I brought up at the beginning on the keys, like I said, when you're on an active call, the button lights up red. If you ever get a call from somebody outside of your business and they ask for that user and you happen to see that the button is red, that lets you know that that person is on the phone. At that point, you could say, hey, I see that Bob is on the phone. Would you like their voicemail? And at that point, send VM, dial Bob's extension and hit enter, and it would then go right to his voicemail. Moving to the right-hand side of the handout, on the back there, initiating a 3-way conference call. Not a lot of people do this, but I'll run over it quick. A 3-way conference call basically is a way for you and I to be on a phone, and we conference in a third and a fourth person to be on that same call. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to call myself again. I'm just going to dial all 10 digits, sorry. Calling out, you dial all 10 digits, hit dial. The call is placed. So we're on an active call right now, and I want to bring in the other phone. So on an active call, you hit the More button, and then you hit the soft key that says CONF-RNC, so conference. And then it's asking for an extension. In this case, I'll dial that extension number next to me here. That phone starts ringing. We answer it. And then we hit More conference one more time. And now the screen shows the 3 people that are on that conference call. So you're able to add, if you're on the phone with one other person, you're able to add a third person to that conference call real quick so that the 3 of you can have a quick on-the-spot conference call to figure out what you guys need to do. So initiating a 3-way conference call. When you're on an active call, More conference, call the third person, More conference again, and all 3 of you will be on the phone. So I'm going to go ahead and hang up there. Lastly, accessing voicemail. So like it says there, the top of your phone here, the little white window, a blinking red voicemail message waiting indicator light notifies you when you have a new voicemail message. To check those messages, you can hit the messages button and then connect.
Welcome to your compiled.
And at that point, it will ask you for your voicemail password. The last step there, voicemail setup. Your default Voicemail PIN or password is 4 zeros followed by pound. 0000 pound. Default voicemail password. When getting into your voicemail for the very first time and entering that default password, the system is going to make you record a new password and record your name. So once you get into the voicemail for the first time, the voicemail system is going to say, welcome, please enter your password. You're going to do that, 4 zeros followed by pound. Then it's going to say, please set up your new voicemail. First, you will set up your new voicemail PIN. It's just got to be 4 digits. You can set it back to the 4 zeros if you would like. After that, it'll ask you to re-enter your PIN to confirm that you entered it the same time twice. After that, then it'll just ask you to record your name. This is not your greeting. This is your name. So you can say accounting manager. You can say your actual name. You can say maintenance department, IT department. It just needs a name there. Once you do that, you press the pound key, which will immediately stop that recording, and the system will ask you if you want to listen to it or proceed. You would proceed, and the system would say, like, congratulations, your voicemail is now set up. At the bottom of the very bottom of the handout there, most people like to have a custom greeting. So at the bottom there, it allows you to go back into your mailbox and press 1 and then 3 to record your no answer greeting. You would record your greeting, and that whole greeting would be, thank you for calling. You've reached the desk of the maintenance department. Our office hours are Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Please leave a name, number, and a message, that whole spiel. If you don't record a custom greeting, the system will just play your name recording when someone leaves you a message. So most people like to have a little custom greeting put in there, but it's not necessary and it's not required. And then lastly, a temporary greeting allows you to record a temporary, like vacation, extended away greeting. You can go ahead and you can record that, you can activate it, you can deactivate it. Please note though that if you record a temporary greeting, people cannot leave you messages. I'm going to repeat that. If you record a temporary greeting, hello, you reached the desk of Bob. I'm on vacation for the next week. Please do this and this and that. People cannot leave you voicemail messages if you record a temporary greeting. So if you're going to go on vacation for an extended time and you want people to know that, and you want them to be able to leave you messages, you would just have to re-record your custom greeting, which is right above that there. So again, depending on what phone you have in front of you, again, on the left-hand side of the video, we have the Poly VVX 450, and on the right, we have the Telecom, or Poly now, VVX 350. Some of you might have a 150, some of you might have a 250. They're all the same, they all function the same. It's just the 150s and the 250s don't have the message button here. And the different series of phones, the amount of keys on each side of the screen get smaller. So the 450 is the big one. The 350, you can see half the buttons are gone. The 250, it's just going to be 4 keys, and the 150 is going to only have 2 keys. At the end of the day, they all work the same. They all, for the most part, look the same. But the handout that we have that goes along with this video, all of those features are the same. Putting people on hold, transferring, those are all the same. So I will probably go ahead and end this video. Again, it's training on the Poly VVX series of phones. If you didn't get a handout and you still went through the video, we can get you that handout. Somebody in your organization probably has that handout from us. but we can get it to you. If we don't, just ask someone in your admin office or your IT. And yeah, we can be available. We're open Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. to help you with things. Um, we may even have guys on site the day of install that you can pull aside and ask questions, but they're pretty easy to use. We use them 9 times out of 10, really enjoy them. I hope you enjoy them, and any questions, please let us know. Thank you.